The need for approval is the fastest way to lose yourself. If you've ever changed your opinion in a group because you didn't want to stand out, if you've ever said yes when you meant no because you didn't want to disappoint someone, if you constantly check social media to see how many likes you got because it determines how you feel about yourself, then this video is for you. Today we're talking about why you need everyone's approval and, more importantly, how to finally break free from that exhausting cycle. In this video, I'm going to reveal the childhood wound that created your approval addiction. I'll show you the internal validation practice that makes you immune to others' opinions, and I'll give you the approval addiction recovery plan that helps you reclaim your authentic self. But here's what most self-help advice gets wrong. They tell you to just stop caring what people think or be confident. That's useless advice. Because the need for approval isn't a choice, it's a coping mechanism you developed to survive. And you can't just decide to stop. You have to understand where it came from and heal the wound underneath it. I spent 25 years of my life as a people pleaser, desperately seeking approval from everyone. My parents, my teachers, my friends, strangers on the internet, and it was exhausting. But the framework I'm sharing today helped me break free from that prison. And it's helped thousands of others do the same. So let's dive in. Point 1. The approval wound. Let me tell you about Kavya. She's 28 years old and she can't make a single decision without consulting at least 5 people. She wants to change her hairstyle. She asks her mom, her sister, her best friend, her co-workers, and posts a poll on Instagram. She's thinking about switching jobs. She needs everyone's opinion before she can even apply. She's dating someone new. She won't make it official until her friends approve of him. On the surface, it looks like she's just being thoughtful, considering different perspectives, being collaborative. But underneath, she's terrified of making the wrong choice. Because if she makes the wrong choice, people might judge her. And if people judge her, they might reject her. And if they reject her, she doesn't know who she is. Kavya's therapist asked her a question that cracked everything open. When you were a child, what happened when you made a choice your parents didn't approve of? Kavya's eyes filled with tears. They got disappointed. My dad would go silent. My mom would say things like, "After everything we've done for you." I felt like I was a bad daughter. Like I was hurting them just by being myself. So Kavya learned, my worth depends on others' approval. If they're happy with me, I'm good. If they're disappointed, I'm bad. The need for approval is a childhood survival strategy. As children, we are completely dependent on our caregivers. If they reject us, we die. So we learn to read their emotions, anticipate their needs, and shape ourselves into whatever gets us love and approval. It's not a flaw, it's survival. But as adults, we are still running that same program even though we don't need it anymore. The childhood approval audit. Question 1. How did my parents show love? Was it conditional? I am proud of you when you get good grades. Was it consistent or did you have to earn it? Was it based on achievement or on being? Question 2. What happened when I disappointed them? Withdrawal of affection, guilt trips, anger or punishment, silent treatment. Question 3. What did I have to do to be good? Be quiet and obedient, achieve and excel, take care of their emotions, hide parts of myself. The core belief identification. Complete these sentences based on your childhood experience. I am lovable when I am worthy when I am safe when I am bad when I. These are your core beliefs about approval. Understanding where your approval addiction comes from doesn't make it disappear, but it does something crucial. It helps you see that the need for approval isn't who you are. It's a strategy you learned, and strategies can be unlearned. You're not broken, you're just running outdated software. But here's the problem. You can't just stop seeking external validation. You have to replace it with something. And that something is internal validation. Meet Arjun. He's a graphic designer and he posts his work on Instagram. Every time he posts, he obsessively checks the likes and comments. If a post gets a lot of engagement, he feels amazing. If it doesn't, he feels like a failure. His entire sense of self-worth is determined by the approval of strangers on the internet. His therapist gave him a challenge. For 1 month, don't post anything. Instead, every time you finish a piece of work, write down what you think about it. Not what you think others will think. What do you think? Arjun was terrified. But how will I know if it's good? His therapist said, that's exactly the problem. You've outsourced your opinion of yourself to other people. You don't know what you think because you've never asked yourself. You've only asked them. So Arjun tried it. And at first it was excruciating. He had no idea what he thought. His mind was blank. But slowly he started to hear his own voice. I like the color palette here. This composition feels balanced. This piece feels authentic to me. And something shifted. He started creating for himself, not for the algorithm. And ironically, his work got better because it was finally authentic. External validation is rented. Internal validation is owned. When your worth depends on others' approval, you're constantly at their mercy. But when you learn to validate yourself, you become unshakable because no one can take that away from you. The daily self-validation practice. Morning, the intention. Before you start your day, ask yourself, what do I want to feel today? What matters to me today? How do I want to show up today? This sets your internal compass, not external expectations. Throughout the day, the check-in. Before making decisions, ask, what do I actually want, not what others want? What feels right to me, not what looks right to others? What aligns with my values, not what gets approval? Evening, the self-acknowledgement. Before bed, write down 3 things you did today that aligned with your values. 1 moment you chose authenticity over approval. 1 thing you appreciate about yourself. The self-approval script. When you catch yourself seeking external validation, pause and say, I don't need approval to know my worth. I approve of myself. I trust myself. I am enough. Repeat until you feel it. The opinion detox. For 1 week, practice. Don't ask for opinions on decisions you can make yourself. Don't post on social media or post without checking engagement. Don't explain or justify your choices to others. Notice the discomfort. That's your approval addiction withdrawing. The self-trust building. Start with small decisions. Choose your outfit without asking anyone. Order food without checking what others are getting. Share an opinion without gauging the room first. Make a choice and don't second guess it. Each time you trust yourself, you build internal validation. The affirmation practice. Daily affirmations, say them out loud. My worth is inherent, not earned. I trust my own judgment. I don't need permission to be myself. Other people's opinions are just information, not truth. I am the authority on my own life. Internal validation isn't about becoming arrogant or dismissing all feedback. It's about having a strong enough sense of self that others' opinions inform you but don't define you. It's about being able to hear no without falling apart. It's about being able to disappoint people without losing yourself. That's freedom. But even when you start building internal validation, there's one trap that catches almost everyone: the people-pleasing pattern. Priya was exhausted. She said yes to everything. Her friend needed help moving? Yes. Her colleague needed her to cover a shift? Yes. Her family wanted her to attend every event? Yes. Her boss asked her to take on extra work? Yes. She had no time for herself, no energy for her own goals, no space for her own life. But she couldn't say no, because saying no meant disappointing people. And disappointing people meant they might not like her. And if they didn't like her, who was she? One day she collapsed, literally. Exhaustion, stress, burnout. Her body forced her to stop because she wouldn't stop herself. In the hospital, her doctor said something that changed her life. Priya, every time you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. And you've been saying no to yourself for so long that your body is shutting down. Priya realized her people-pleasing wasn't kindness, it was self-abandonment. People-pleasing isn't about being nice, it's about avoiding rejection. When you say yes to everything, you're not being generous, you're being afraid. Afraid that if you set boundaries, people will leave. Afraid that if you prioritize yourself, you're selfish. Afraid that your worth depends on your usefulness. The people-pleasing audit. Identify your pattern. Who do you people-please most? Parents, partners, friends, bosses. What do you do to please them? Say yes, hide feelings, avoid conflict. What are you afraid will happen if you stop? Rejection, anger, abandonment. The cost-benefit analysis. What people-pleasing costs you? Your time, your energy, your authenticity, your self-respect, your goals and dreams, your mental and physical health. What people-pleasing gets you? Temporary approval, avoidance of conflict, feeling needed, illusion of control. Is it worth it? The no practice. Start small and build up. Week 1. Say no to small requests. Can you grab me a coffee? Not right now. Can you help me with this? I'm not available. Week 2. Say no without explanation. No, I can't. Notice the urge to explain. Resist it. Week 3. Say no to bigger requests. Can you work this weekend? No, I have plans. Your plans can be resting, that counts. Week 4. Say no to people you're afraid to disappoint. Parents, close friends, partners. This is the hardest but most important. The boundary script. When saying no feels impossible. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not able to do that right now. That's it. No apologies, no over-explaining, just a clear, kind boundary. The guilt management. When you feel guilty for saying no, 1. Acknowledge it softly. I feel guilty right now. 2. Remind yourself, guilt is not a sign I did something wrong. It's a sign I'm breaking an old pattern. 3. Reframe it. This guilt means I'm growing. The people-pleasing recovery mantra. I am not responsible for other people's emotions. I am not responsible for managing their disappointment. I am responsible for honoring myself. Here's the truth about people-pleasing. The people who truly love you will respect your boundaries. The people who get angry when you set boundaries were only interested in what you could do for them, not who you are. Losing those people isn't a loss, it's a liberation. And the space they leave creates room for people who love the real you, not the people-pleasing version. Now here's the final piece. The ultimate goal isn't just to stop seeking approval. It's to reclaim your authentic self. After years of therapy and self-work, Neha had a realization that brought her to tears. She was at a dinner party and someone asked her a simple question. What do you think about this? And Neha froze because she genuinely didn't know. She had spent so many years shaping her opinions to match whoever she was talking to that she had lost touch with her own thoughts. She was a chameleon. She could be whoever people needed her to be, but she had no idea who she actually was. That night, she went home and looked in the mirror and she asked herself, who are you? Not who do people think you are, not who you pretend to be. Who are you really? And she couldn't answer. That was her rock bottom. The moment she realized, in trying to be everything to everyone, she had become nothing to herself. You cannot be authentic and approval seeking at the same time. Authenticity means showing up as you are, even when it's not popular, even when it's not approved of, even when it disappoints people. And that's terrifying. But it's also the only way to truly live. The self-discovery process. Step 1. Identify what you've hidden. Make a list. Opinions you've hidden to avoid conflict. Parts of your personality you've suppressed. Dreams you've abandoned because they weren't practical. Feelings you've denied because they weren't appropriate. Step 2. The who am I exercise. Answer these questions without thinking about what others would want you to say. What do I actually enjoy? Not what I should enjoy. What do I actually believe? Not what I'm supposed to believe. What do I actually want? Not what I'm supposed to want. What do I actually value? Not what I'm supposed to value. Step 3. The small authenticity experiments. Start revealing your authentic self in low-stakes situations. Share an unpopular opinion in a safe space. Wear something you love but were afraid to wear. Say I don't know instead of pretending to agree. Express a feeling you usually hide. Step 4. The authenticity expansion. Gradually expand to higher stakes situations. Be honest with friends about your real thoughts. Set boundaries with family about who you are. Show up authentically at work within reason. Post on social media without curating for approval. The authenticity commitment. Write this down and sign it. I commit to being myself even when it's uncomfortable. I commit to honoring my truth even when it disappoints others. I commit to living authentically even when it costs me approval. Because a life lived for others' approval is not my life. And I only get one life. I am going to live it as myself. The daily authenticity practice. Every day, do one thing that's authentically you. Say what you really think. Do what you really want. Wear what you really like. Be who you really are. Start small. Build momentum. The authenticity affirmation. I am not here to meet everyone's expectations. I am here to live my truth. I am not here to be liked by everyone. I am here to be myself. I am not here to please others. I am here to honor myself. Here's what happens when you reclaim your authentic self. Some people will leave. And that's okay. Because they were only connected to the mask you were wearing, not the person underneath. But the people who stay, they love the real you. And that love will feel completely different. It will feel like home. Because for the first time, you're not performing. You're just being. And being is enough. Let's bring this all together. You need everyone's approval because you learnt as a child that your worth depends on it. We covered the approval wound and how it's a survival strategy from childhood. We learned the internal validation practice to replace external approval with self-approval. We broke down the people-pleasing pattern and how it's self-abandonment disguised as kindness. And we explored how to reclaim your authentic self by gradually revealing who you really are. But here's what I want you to really understand. The need for approval isn't your fault. You didn't choose it. It was programmed into you when you were too young to choose. But now you're an adult. And you get to choose. You can keep living for others' approval, or you can start living for your own. One path leads to exhaustion and emptiness. The other leads to freedom and fulfillment. The choice is yours. So here's what I want you to do. Leave a comment and tell me, what's one thing you've been hiding because you're afraid of disapproval? What's one part of your authentic self that you're ready to reclaim? Because naming it is the first step to owning it. And I promise you, there are people in this community who will support the real you. And if you're thinking, okay, I'm ready to be authentic, but how do I deal with the people who won't accept the real me? I made a video specifically about that. It's called How to Set Boundaries Without Feeling Guilty. I'll link it right here. Because reclaiming your authentic self is step 1. Protecting it with boundaries, that's step 2. Thanks for watching. Remember, you were not born to be liked by everyone. You were born to be yourself. And that is more than enough.
In continuation of the age-old tradition of the wisdom of India, to join the Alchemy program conducted by Guru Mithreshiva, kindly register or call 96559 92559. Visit our website www.matangifoundation.org. Guru Mithreshiva's Alchemy classes are conducted in Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, Trichy, Salem, Pondicherry, Bengaluru and London.